Welcome to Two Sin Theater, the podcast where you can hear fresh millennial takes on classic films. I'm Connor Jones, joined as always by...
I'm Miguel.
Rodolfo.
Stephen Laura.
You should really intro your co-host.
Yeah.
I give them the opportunity to introduce
Look,
themselves.
I said my name's Stephen Laura. That's good enough.
I'm getting a tummy ache.
All right.
Today we're... Oh no, it already begins. Today we're looking at the Ralph Bakshi animated cult classic Coonskin, the tale of three black men, or rather a rabbit, fox, and a bear, as they try to survive racist cops, drug dealers, and the Mafia in their quest to make it to the top of organized crime in Harlem, in a twisted retelling of the Uncle Remus Tall Tales stories. Simultaneously, the film also tells the tale of two black inmates, Randy and Pappy, who await jailbreak in the form of two friends waiting to bust them out. It's a nuanced film full of racist imagery and stereotypes blended with a twisted animation to create a subtle look at race relations in America.
All right. So earlier you mentioned Uncle Remus Tall Tales. What's that supposed to mean? Is this actually based on something?
Loosely. So, you know the movie Song of the South?
Yes, vaguely.
Do any of you know Song of the South? An old Disney movie? Well, Song of the South was based on these tall tales by a fictional figure named Uncle Remus, who is typically attributed to be a slave, a former slave rather, and he would tell these Americana tales, one of them of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and I don't know if it's Brer Bear, but there's a bear in there somewhere.
So basically it's just like Coonskin.
Yeah, but more innocent and not violent and seedy or twisted.
Hey, all the good tall tales have violence and sex in them.
Name one tall tale.
Johnny Appleseed.
Name the fucked up part about that.
He cut down the trees that were sentient beings, and then at one point
trees
he
aren't
fucked
sentient.
It. I'm trying to make
They
a
have
joke
feelings.
here.
No, they don't.
It's been scientifically proven that most trees, their network, the network of their cells kind of represent nerves. So in a way, yes, they do have feelings.
Yeah, but they don't have.
Also,
brains.
I'm bullshitting with you.
Oh my god.
Also, another tall tale that has violence, Paul Bunyan, because he's tall and he does violence with fucking.
Okay, I guess.
So I get so tall equals violent. So the NBA must be like a horror show to you.
I didn't say that. That's what you said, dude.
Hey, I mean,
That's racist, which segues into this movie.
Hey,
I'm going with
everyone
your
knows
logic.
athletes always have domestic disputes and they beat people.
I mean, he's not sometimes
I'm not
wrong.
Prove me
No
wrong.
comment.
yeah, I'm with Rodolfo. No comment.
All right, so get on with it.
All right, so
Get on with your bad self.
this podcast is gonna be the death of me.
Good.
Oh my god,
Good.
why are you wheezing so much?
I have phlegm.
He has emphysema.
I don't have
But it's
emphysema.
every time.
Fuck off, dude. Live my life.
All right, go on.
So
Live your life.
live my life. So basically, this film, we start off with this film of Fox, Bear, and Rabbit, who, okay, did the film mention that they're brothers, or are they related? I know
No.
Fox raised them after their parents died, but...
I feel like they were brothers in a way.
I'm gonna say they're not because the fact that there were three different animals, maybe they're not.
I mean-
because then it wouldn't make sense
They
that.
might be related, like as in cousins, probably.
Or maybe, like, Bear was, like, raised by the rabbits, or maybe, like, Rabbit was raised by the bears, or something
Like an adopted kid.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because
Also-
they make it clear that they make it clear to say that Fox raised them after their parents died. And they say, like, their parents, so I guess they must have, like,
It was
grown up
also
together.
like Ben Rabbit and Ma Rabbit,
Yeah,
on
okay,
the-
yeah, so I
yeah.
guess Bear must have been adopted.
or a cousin.
Maybe.
I took it in.
All I know is like when the movie starts off, there's no indication that this is gonna be animated.
Oh, yeah, it starts off with Rico Tubbs from Miami Vice and Autobot Jazz from the Transformers trying to break out of jail. Yeah, the one of the men is Scatman Carruthers, who is known for... Well, you know him in The Shining. He was in there.
Wait. I thought the movie starts off with him preaching in that little church, and then that little kid's just watching him.
Oh, yeah, you're right. God.
Doesn't it technically start off with the little animation talking about like there was like 400
No,
something
that's
deaths?
No,
That's-
yeah, it actually does start with the animated
Yeah.
segment.
It started out with that, and then it goes into the theme
The
song,
Scatman.
and then it goes to the church, and then
Yeah.
it's them outside the wall.
live action stuff I don't think really matters much in this film. It's just a
It's
a wraparound story, just
it's
like
a
in
wraparound
VHS.
story, but it's only there so they can introduce the animated segments, which take up the majority of the film.
By the way, one thing I love is the fact that the live action people are actually the counterparts in the story. Like, they voice the characters. Like, Barry White is the rabbit.
Yeah,
the
Barry White's in this, which is weird.
The big fat black dude's the bear, and then the preacher is the preacher.
And and Rico Tubbs from Miami Vice is Rabbit.
Yes.
You haven't seen Miami Vice, so that
No.
was lost on you.
Yeah, like I don't know if you can tell by my dumbfounded look, like,
But yeah, so that was like one thing because I thought about in this film, because I think you asked it, Miguel, did anyone from Toxic Avenger ever go on to do other stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I can at least say with this film at least produced people who went on to do other better things.
Like the Shining guy in Autobot.
Yeah, he went on to the stellar career of voicing Hanna-Barbera characters.
wait a minute. Did Coonskin come out before The Shining or after The Shining?
I want to say before.
I want to
'cause
say
this-
after.
I don't know. That's interesting. We'll look that up later.
Because like The Shining's like what, 80s, 70s?
This movie screams 1970s. So if Shining is the early 80s, then this must have come before.
I think Shining came out in 1976 because I remember seeing that vividly when I watched it on Netflix.
We don't look anything up on this podcast, so for people who are screaming at us that
I'm pretty
the
sure we
dating-
have.
Well, not anymore.
I'll look it up right
You
now.
put that.
Miguel's being the person
You
who
put
searches
that
it
down
up.
now.
Don't spit on me.
I'll spit on you no matter what you say.
Yeah, the black the old man is basically from The Shining. That's what I know him as. And it's funny how he's telling these stories, and then I feel like it's a way to calm down the main character, Barry White. Like, hey, come on.
Barry White's not the main character.
Who's the main character?
Rico Tubbs from Miami Vice.
Coonskin came before The Shining. Coonskin
Wow.
was 75, and then Shining was 80.
Wow, Jesus.
So, I mean, where do we start with this movie? Because, I mean, I guess we could start at the beginning, but do we start at the...
I say we don't talk about the live action scenes because I feel like the live action scenes is inconsequential because what people really like to watch are the animated segments that tell the story of a rise in crime.
Do you mean like rise in crime, like criminals are rising, or like a rise up the ranks?
They rise up the ranks of the crime. Because like I feel like that's the only like cool stuff in the movie. And the fact that it has a surreal style to it where it's live action over animation over live action.
You know, like that's one thing because so I'm guessing this is the first Ralph Bakshi movie you guys have seen.
Yeah,
I guess,
pretty much, yeah.
So what he's known for is he sort of pioneered rotoscoping, which is the concept of you take live action film and you draw over it to create more fluid movement. But I feel like with some films he just kind of got lazy over it, like lazy with it.
Yeah, the animation does feel choppy at times. Miguel, why don't you start off with, when we get to the anime section, what does it start off with?
Well, it starts off with this. This fellow. He's talking about how all these people, like 400 people, killed themselves by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, and then he's saying out of that 400, 2 of them were black, and 1 of them was pushed off.
We're going to be using less colorful language than the film uses because none of us are black and we don't want to get in trouble.
Way to go. So
Good job.
So after that, then it cuts to the live action stuff, and then Rodolfo, when it gets to our main characters, the animals, what does that start off with?
They're basically, I think, in the cemetery, visiting their dead parents with the fox, and then telling them what's going on. That the house eventually got sold, and they were gonna go back to get at least partial payment from it. The people who bought it up, a city slicker, which is pretty much a pimp, I guess.
Who's also just like there watching them in the cemetery, flipping his money.
While they're over the grave.
Like, scumbag.
And they were, as they were talking about that, after that happened, they were heading back to their house, or whatever. And it was basically, what, a whorehouse?
Yes, it was a
Yeah,
whorehouse.
he turned their family home into a brothel, basically.
While another part of the scene pops up where 2 officers are going to this whorehouse, and everything's on the house, and the Black Rabbit's saying, "Yeah, it's here's your room. It's on the house. Don't worry, we got you covered." Blah blah blah. And it turns out that it was the sheriff's daughter or whatever that was apparently kidnapped, but she seemed like fine to do all of this stuff.
Wait,
Yeah,
was she kidnapped?
I don't-
They talked about it. Like they said, "Oh yeah, Black Rabbit told him, dude, you should have told me that it was the daughter, like the sheriff's daughter, that she was kidnapped and put her in that room."
But I took that as just like, oh, the city slicker like flashed his money and then like she went to work for him. I didn't think it was kidnapped. Although
They basically said something like that, like around the lines of
Although-
kidnapping.
based on like what Rabbit and the other like two guys do, it's not too far out of the woodwork for them because they do some like kind of messed up stuff in this movie.
Yeah, so they basically take all the money that's in the brothel and then they just leave after they kill the cops.
Well, no, see, that like you
No,
made
they didn't have any money there.
yeah, no, they just
They
left.
just left because they killed a white person.
Yeah, they killed not even just like a white person, like a white cop.
Yeah.
And then they go to Harlem.
The
Out of
home of,
nowhere, they just
quote
said-
unquote the home of every black man, they say. Which, I mean, there's some like that's not necessarily true, but culturally there is a lot of truth to that statement. Well, no, because historically Harlem was like a big, it was sort of like a cultural center of like black music, black theater, black writing.
That's where they were explaining the part. They were explaining that, I believe, in a scene where it was some random guy in the street playing, what was it, trumpet?
Yeah, it was the trumpet.
Yeah, and they were explaining everything around.
Oh
around
yeah,
that
I
scene.
forgot that.
Which I actually really liked, to be honest.
I
like
really like
the
it.
song.
It was haunting, and nice, and like mixed with like the seedy and like really shitty looking city of Harlem with that visual. It's a nice visual, I think.
And then for it to cut to an old guy rummaging through garbage.
It was like a hobo, I believe, finding a sweater.
A red cotton sweater.
A red cardigan.
100% pure cotton. Something like that. And he's like, he said that he
All
never
right.
had them before.
Meanwhile, Ralph Bakshi like, all right, let me get my sledgehammer. I don't think this point is hammered in home enough.
All right, then after that, they come across a church by Black Jesus, and they're like, "What's this big commotion?" Connor, explain what happens.
All right,
then
so
after.
they come across this black preacher fellow, this black who's talking about Black Jesus, who he's gained a following amongst the local black populace because he promises to give them power to kill white people white people in places of authority that oppress the black minority. But the thing is, it's just a racket. He's out for money.
He's promising a revolution, basically.
Yeah, he's like a black
That's the big
revolutionary,
thing.
but he doesn't care anything about them. He just wants to get money from their desperation. Which, I mean, look, as someone who's known like religious black people in his life, this is like I've seen this practice done before, where it's like I'll exploit their belief and their desperation just to get money. Like we've seen that like all the goddamn time.
This is like I think the only scene in the movie I can do without the Black Jesus like doing his sermon, dancing around, all fat and his penis sticking out.
Oh yeah, like he's cartoonishly fat, and he has, and his dick is just like flopping all over the place. But I'm not really bothered by that. I just think it just goes on way too long.
It does.
But I do like this scene where pictures of Richard Nixon, John
Elvis.
Wayne, and Elvis pop up because those are the symbols of oppression.
Wait, what?
Yeah, those are symbols of white oppression. Richard Nixon because he's the president who introduced the war on drugs idea, which like the whole war on drugs has across the board like screwed over black men who just like to get high and smoke weed, but now they're serving life sentences for that. Elvis because there is no Elvis without black artists, but Elvis gets all the credit for being the creator of rock and roll when really it was black musicians. And John Wayne was just like a shitty racist. So like seriously, like go up and look at some of the things he said. They're terrible.
So Miguel, what did you think of the Black Jesus scene?
I honestly did not like it. It went on way too long. one thing that we will talk about, I believe, is the audio mixing. I could barely understand Black Jesus. Because it was all muffled, and I was just like, I liked the first 5 seconds, and then I was like, okay, get on with it.
The animation was nice, but just like it stayed on too long, and I don't know. Like again, you're right. The mixing's terrible in that scene because the music's way too loud.
I don't understand why you guys have such a problem with the audio mixing. For me, it was fine.
Really?
Like, for me, it wasn't like bad at all. Like there were some parts where it sounded like they were like when they were say syncing up the audio to like the cartoons, the way their mouths were moving. It also felt like they were like kind of rocking back and forth. Like you can tell like they were moving. Like compared to the mic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To when they were recording it, they actually like went back too far and stuff like that. But that's about it. That was in the beginning at all, if anything.
I think my problem with the mixing is just that they talk so fast, and then the audio, for some reason, it like muffles it a little bit when they're talking fast. Especially when it came to the bear, his voice is so deep that I could barely understand what he said.
Yeah, it's Barry White, so
The bear?
yeah, it's Barry White.
That's Barry White?
Yeah,
I thought Barry White was the rabbit.
no, Rico Tubbs is the rabbit. I just got through saying this.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
All right. So what follows after the Black Jesus scene is the fact that they take away the money, and then they basically tell the black people like, "Hey, by the way, you're being robbed." And then
it was starting off. What's it called? They
At first they won in on it.
no first off what's it called? The people at the church, like the enforcers, were like, "Oh, where's your donations? Are you not gonna help out of the cause? Like this money's going directly to buying guns to get into your hands to take down the white people." But Black Rabbit switched it on. I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm taking this money. This is my money. This is our money already. So why don't we just cut out the middleman and get the guns ourselves?" And then he literally tells everybody, they're making a commotion on purpose to get every other follower like, "Hey, like what's going on here? Like, oh, there's a commotion. What's that commotion?
Yeah,
What's
where's my money?
What's
going
on?
to?
What's my money going to?" Like, "Oh, we just said they're going blah blah blah," and they use that as a distraction to slip out with all that money.
When they're rallying up the crowd is live action, but then the main characters are animation,
which I kind of like, to be honest.
Yeah,
to give it a different touch.
I liked it in that scene. However, this is like a weird question that I thought to myself, making this, and I want to pose this question to all of you. Okay, so there are black people in this movie.
Yes.
But then a bunch of people are also like animals. But then there's that scene with the woman talking about her fly neighbor who doesn't have any animalistic traits necessarily, but she's so cartoonish she kind of looks like one.
Wait, who? Fly
what
neighbor?
fly?
Yeah,
Are you talking about the girl with the baby and the
cockroach?
That's a cockroach.
That's a cockroach.
Yeah, cockroach. But like, yeah, so her lips. Okay,
She kind of looked like a bug because like
she kind of looked like a fly.
her lips were like, to me I saw a mosquito because her head was like circle-ish, but then her lips extended so much it just looked like a
All right.
like a
I
snout.
feel that was a racial stereotype.
Before we get
Yeah.
into that, so yeah, they got to win the crowd, and now Miguel, explain this scene where it cuts to a woman and her baby.
So from what I could gather,
Which I think you're going to be hearing that a lot in this, from what we could gather.
yeah, she was talking to her baby about how there was this cockroach, quote unquote, that she would try to kill, and he would always get away. But then they, start talking, drinking. They got together, and
They didn't get together.
they didn't.
They didn't get together.
I don't know, but like
No.
then he like ran off, and then a rat came in, and she was like, "Hey, he ran off. Let me get that pussy." And then she like, I think she shot him, and then he's like, "Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
you
so-
look just like him."
In a way, he explained it, but it's like the reason with the cockroach was like, at first he saw the cockroach as a nuisance until like she said, and each time I tried to kill him, he'd get away easier and easier to the point where I stopped trying to kill him and basically befriended him because he was the only friend I had, and that's what happened. And then until one day, he basically said that he can't help her in any way. Like if he can't help himself, there's nothing he can do to help her because like he specifically said, I'm barely able to feed myself with the scraps that you have, so I get way better food over in downtown. That's why he left,
Do you
basically.
think it's like a metaphor for like how, it's like the sort of stereotype of black men like often like leaving families like high and
No,
dry?
because he wasn't the father or like anything. He was just a friend. The actual father to the baby just left.
That's the one thing I have to say about the scene is just that really, besides it being like a aesthetically pleasing scene, and like, oh, this is like a nice little story, it has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Well, see,
it's just there.
See, I don't know about that. See, this is
Partially, like later on down the road with Bear, it does kind of connect because they're married in a way. But we'll talk about that.
That's
later.
not the same character, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is.
I thought the girl that he married had like actually like black skin. This one had like brown skin.
No, it's the same person.
But then why does she never bring up the baby that she has?
She does.
No,
she
It's-
doesn't.
Yes, she does later on. I'm pretty sure they talk about it, but either way,
no, because
that's why Fox said it's time to settle down and have a family. Like, here's your one opportunity, blah, blah, to actually have a family.
Yeah, to have kids. She
No.
doesn't have kids. Also, the one that he married, the
She has
prostitute,
hair.
she has hair, and
That's,
this one didn't.
The other one didn't have hair.
because later on in the scene where this happens, it's do you just want to wait to get to it for me to explain? Or do you want to explain it right now?
We'll wait to get to it,
We'll wait till we
but
get
right
to
now I'm gonna say what I think. I don't think it's the same character. I think this
neither.
is just to introduce like some like drama into the
Just
movie,
wait for
like
it.
a little bit. But one thing I will say before we move on is that this movie, like aesthetically wise, is so beautiful.
I loved
It's
it.
beautiful in that it takes like very ugly urban settings and it makes them bright and colorful, and
Yeah,
it makes them very attractive in a weird way.
like the backgrounds, I feel like I would see on Tumblr.
Yeah, you would really see him on Tumblr.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But meanwhile, if you show them a picture of Rabbit from this movie, you get shut down.
Well, I mean, it is kind of racist,
Well,
Connor.
but see, that's the one thing I like about this movie. And when this movie first came out, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, wow, this movie just enforces negative stereotypes about black people." But if you listen to what Bakshi had to say about it, he said the reason why everyone's a caricature is because I'm making the audience confront these stereotypes that they made and say, "Wow, like this is fucked up, isn't it?"
So after the scene with the mom and the baby, Rodolfo, what does it cut to next?
I believe it cuts to the Black Jesus was trying to find the Black Rabbit, I believe, and until I think they got chased and they caught Black Rabbit,
Yeah, and
or they
he's-
met him in a bar or something like that.
Yeah, they met him in a bar. Rabbit. See, this is where like Rabbit figures out like, oh, this isn't serious. It's just like a bullshit scheme. And that when he finds that out, now he's like, oh, I'm just gonna take this over then.
Yeah, because I remember they started fighting in a no. What happened was they were at a bar. They were talking about it, and then what's it called? That chick comes in and says, "I'll drink to that," and then the pimp of that girl basically
I
said
forgot about this.
said
And I saw it today.
I don't know what he said. He said something.
Yeah,
But- and
basically
to
you gotta
recap
go
that-
downtown.
basically work in the corner.
Yeah,
He
and
said-
she said
He
no, I
said
don't.
something scummy and not feminist. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and she said no, I don't want to go. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to make up your mind. You're either gonna go or whatever, blah blah.
And then he slaps her.
And he slaps her, and then that's when like Rabbit and Bear kind of like don't like that, and they intervene.
they massacre. Like,
They
a
go
bunch
into
of
a
people.
big fight. Bear even picks somebody up, throws him to like the fan, and gets his head chopped off.
It's funny when like this movie has like blood but has Looney Tunes physics.
But the thing is about this, that's where that same chick is the one from like the monologue, whatever it was, when she was talking about it. Pretty sure that's her, because hold on, that's the same chick that Fox walks away. It's like, let's leave all that
I think you're right.
that
I think
the
he's
animal
right.
type of things to them. I'll take you home, but instead, you know,
He's
he
groping
becomes
her.
a pimp. He becomes her pimp, and is nice to her. Like,
But he's a
pimp.
nice pimp.
Yeah, takes care of him.
By the way, so I'm not sure when the Miss America stuff comes out.
Oh, it's sprinkled throughout the film, and it's like I think the first Miss America stuff happens after the Black Jesus stuff. Okay, so for those who don't know, throughout the film there are these segments where here. How about you tell it, Miguel? Because I'm not sure where to start with this.
All right, so basically what it is, it's just I think it's in a pier. It starts out I think at a pier, and there's like Miss America.
Yes.
And Miss America is depicted as this large, voluptuous woman with big tits, big ass, great thighs. Basically, your perfect girl with blonde hair, blue eyes, and freckles.
Perfect white girl. That's a key point because she is white.
And so what the segments really are these black people trying to please Miss America, and then at the end she does something that kind of just either gets them killed or puts them in a whole lot of trouble.
But so, what do you think those segments represent?
Oh, I think it's very clear what they represent.
I believe
It was basically like a stereotype between like at first Miss America was like welcoming, oh yeah, come here, blah blah, which is right, but then basically flips the script on them, and like he says, messes them or gets them in a lot of trouble, and it's like stuff they want to do. They're like trying to tell the truth in a way, or
it's the
trying to bring out.
It's the hypocrisy of America promising like equal opportunity and freedom, but consistently forcing down like systemic racism on black populace. That's what it is.
Then what was with that scene with the guy with the gun? And it's like, and you know,
Well,
like,
see
oh,
that.
you win.
Well, see that was
Eyes win.
I believe that's like
he dressed up as a Black Panther, which is talking about when Black revolutionaries started happening. Like, oh yeah, like America was all afraid of them, but then as soon as they offered like any concession, the guy was like, okay, fine, like I got something. That's okay.
And he dropped his gun.
And then America fucked him over.
And Miguel, what did you think that meant? Because you were about to say
I thought that meant sort of like how all the Miss America segments were, is that like no matter like Miss America will present an opportunity in which a black individual can do whatever he needs to do, like the shooting down America, or like shooting at America, Miss America, like, okay, you win, you're putting him in a false sense of security, and then fucking him over. So I believe it's like it's supposed to represent like every black man's struggle against a country that he's supposed to live in, but it's against him.
I wish we had a black person for this episode.
But the thing is, the reason why I wanted to touch on the Miss America segments now is because they're sprinkled, so might as well just hit them down.
But for me, like at first, like the Miss America thing and the other guy was at first it seemed like it wasn't like necessarily a big part. Like for people, they might just see, oh, it's another just a short clip for animated cartoon type of thing. But it's like it's kind of a story where at the beginning the guy is like doesn't get what he wants because Miss America is like, oh no, we're not gonna do this, blah blah blah. Later on, he gets mad, he gets jealous. For other people, this is like the basic thing that they're trying to say, like, oh, he gets jealous, he's trying to get back at Miss America, starts shooting her.
When he lashes out,
starts shooting him, and she's like, oh, gets hit in the tits everywhere. Says no, he lets his guard down, drops the gun, and says, like, okay, here, I will let you take me, as in like sex.
And
like the
then,
scene was, she spreads her legs.
This is from like we see it from the front of
Miss America.
Yeah, from the front of Miss America.
So like
And
Miss America's like, I'm just gonna say her pussy is censored by the guy's head.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically. And then
as
he's
censored
like,
as she can be, because she is basically kind of nude throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
he basically just says, oh, you're really gonna let me smash? Okay.
As win?
Yeah, and then he starts going in, like, as he's about to, like, eat her out or something, and all of a sudden, boom, he just gets shot
gun
dead.
in her vagina.
Yeah.
Don't you know why? Because she got the clap.
There's an actual line in the movie, which I guess, okay.
I thought it was funny.
I'll let it slide.
Is it okay that I talk about the last segment?
Yes, I wanted to touch up on that because, like, so we were talking about Miss America, right? And then mostly it's talking about America. But then I feel like in that segment you're about to talk about with the old black guy, and then she just says like two sentences, and then he's dead.
Yeah. So basically, what it is this. I think he's like hitting on her or something.
No, what he's doing. Okay, so so at the beginning of the movie, during the opening credits scene, we have Scatman Carruthers singing a song that I'm not going to repeat because it says the N word several times. But basically, I think, from what I understand about that song, it's just sort of like not necessarily a Black Power song, but just more of like a song about recognizing like the struggle that they go through every day.
Yeah.
And so in that scene, we have this old man. I think it's the same old man who we saw ruining garbage earlier in the film.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because he got the red.
Sweater.
No. Because the guy who was singing had a suit and a tie. And the thing is, I remember vividly about the guy rummaging the garage. Is his body was like Gollum-like.
Well, I mean, yeah, this guy's body was also pretty Gollum-like too.
Not really. He was short and just had a suit.
But it
and a
was
tie.
the same guy.
Same guy and same voice actor.
Pretty
I
sure
don't
it's the same
think
guy.
so. But go on.
But basically, he sings this song in front of Miss America, and it's basically saying like, hey, I'm not going away. Like I'm here. Like you can't just get rid of me. Like I'm here. I'm gonna make my circle heard. And then what does she say, Miguel?
She just I think it's the best way to phrase it. She like lays like halfway onto the ground. She's like, oh, rape, and then here comes like a hangsman noose, and he's
immediately
hung.
hung.
See, that's the thing.
This is the most I think the best done out of all the Miss America scenes because it's so brutal.
It's subtle. It's very simplistic, but it really does hammer the point across.
That's the thing. When I saw that, I didn't see that as an America thing. I saw that as a white woman thing.
Well, that's the thing you can look at because Miss America is a white woman.
But see, that also leads into another thing that. I really wish we had like a woman and a black person on this show because.
We don't.
But like. I'm just not, as a white guy, I'm not necessarily comfortable about talking about shows like this that I don't really have that much knowledge of. But I will say that this movie kind of bothered me. Do you guys like think that this movie kind of like failed to portray like women in the whole struggle of this?
It kind of. Well, that's a good question.
There's one scene where it's just sort of like, yeah, man, being a black woman is hard, especially like with single and taking care of kids. But on that one scene. Especially with a character like Miss America, it's especially troubling because you're right, Steven. She is portrayed as a woman. They could have portrayed Miss America as a man, and it kind of would have been more accurate because men are often in positions of power to where they can.
But then that rape scene wouldn't work.
Yeah,
but I think
the whole thing with Miss America is supposed to be like it's a lowering thing where they're trying to just
it
pull
lures
you
them with the promise of something and then backstabs them.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, that's just like another kind of messed up stereotype.
But then again, there's not that much like women scenes. Like it's mainly focused on black.
It's mostly a male-oriented
crime.
It's not necessarily like a failing of this movie. It's just something that I like noticed, and it's something that I did take issue with. Just more of like, this is interesting that there's like. That this is like the main female presence in this movie.
To be fair, it was a movie made back then.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the 70s was a big time for women's liberation.
Speaking of that, what I did notice now that Connor brings it up is that like if you look at the Italian girls or the white girls, they all kind of have the same body figure. But if you like, because they're hourglass shaped, big tits, big ass, big everything. But
what Italian girl? So it was only like one Italian girl.
But still, it was an Italian.
And
girl.
honestly, with the Italians in this movie, I couldn't tell who were the girls and who were men.
Well, that's the thing. All of them were guys.
I could definitely tell.
Yeah. After a while, I was just sort of like
all the Italian sons. All those were basically guys.
They only had one normal son.
At a certain
Sonny,
point,
which got died.
No, it wasn't Sonny. It was the monkey boy.
Well, don't say normal.
In terms of this society,
monkey boy
and
was
back
normal
then,
to me.
normal.
He
Don't
wasn't a
say
son.
You don't get to decide who's normal.
I'm saying for back then, that was considered normal.
He was like, they only have one normal son. Who are you to say what's normal?
That's the thing. I'm basically talking about in the context of back then.
I am defending.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. There's a number.
Right now, basically, we're at the part where I guess he's taking over the
Black Jesus rap.
Black Jesus.
Go on, Rodolfo, with the plot of the movie.
They basically, what was it? They basically, what part was it? How they killed him exactly?
Oh,
I know they shot him up.
Black Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Because all I remember is like, I think after the bar scene.
I think it's after the bar scene.
He gets captured. Black Rapper gets captured, and then he's like trying to beg him, "Don't throw me out that window! Please do not throw me out that window."
Yeah, they throw him out the window, and then the 2 other guys come in and they shoot him down.
Yeah,
I believe so.
How clown shoes was this operation to where just like 3 guys come up from Mississippi could just like destroy it like that and then immediately take it over?
I mean, they had to have great leadership. In a way, they did. They were able to pull everyone together.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
an actual cause, an actual purpose.
Yeah.
And then this kind of like starts out the main conflict of the movie. Like halfway through the movie, like they finally get the main conflict, which is Rabbit wants to sort of take back Harlem for the blacks who live there, and not for the white. For the white people, like the mafia or the corrupt cops. He wants it for the blacks, but not necessarily like in a noble way, but crime. He wants the money to be all centered around there.
So explain. So yeah, that is next. But explain it how this is happening during the funeral of the Black Jesus.
Okay, so I will say I had to rewatch it because I was just like distracted by the shenanigans going on with Black Jesus' body.
I was totally distracted too.
He was so fat he couldn't fit in there.
He was so fat he couldn't fit in the grave. Even when
One of the biggest stereotypes in this movie.
I was gonna say like Mushmouth from Fat Out in the Cosby, because that's what he reminded me of a little bit because of that hat, like he's all gangly and stuff. But basically, the crime lords of Harlem show up at Black Jesus' funeral and say to Rabbit, "Hey, look, we don't blame you for killing Black Jesus, but unless you can like get rid of his other competition, we're gonna kill you and just like let it." And let
not intending to kill you. It's like we're not gonna help you out.
Yeah,
we're not gonna be any part of this unless you show us like results, like actual good results.
Yeah.
Because these are the only 2 things that are holding us back. Which was what's his name? The cop's name?
Madigan. I think.
Madigan, yeah, Madigan and the Italian mom.
All right. So then, after the funeral, Miguel explained this whole Madigan business.
Madigan was I'm trying to remember. He was the guy with Ruby, right?
He was a crooked cop.
Yeah.
He's a crooked cop.
So from what I can remember, he was at the bar and he's talking up to this girl.
He was a guy. He's basically
that was a
very,
guy.
he's a very effeminate man.
Yeah.
And I will say though, I was wondering, people like, I don't think this film is racist because it says a lot of like, it turns a lot of stereotypes on its head. But I was wondering, could this kind of be considered retroactively like homophobic and all of this sorts of stuff? But
well, that's the thing.
No.
The people in the movie were homophobic, but
yeah, exactly. They're presented as Madigan is the most homophobic character in the movie, but he's presented as a bad guy. Now that also is because he's racist, but
he wasn't that homophobic because he still called Ruby baby. I'll bring one back to you, baby. Something like that. Like he,
I think
it
that
seems
was
like
done jokingly.
Yeah,
no, but I feel like he has banged Ruby, whatever her name was, or his name, but he just didn't want to do it at that time because he had business to do.
Well, I mean, that is also the same thing. Like most homophobia comes from like self-loathing and people who have urges. So
and then the scene when they get there where they drug him in the drink and then they bring him to that guy.
Yeah, they drive him crazy based on like an experience with a male prostitute, right?
And they drug him. They make him have sex with this white guy, and then he just then they color him black and dress him up as like
blackface.
Yeah, literal blackface. They dress him up as the stereotypical like black mom.
Honestly, pretty like the mammy stereotype.
Yeah, and then it's everyone laughing at him because he I could tell,
he thinks black people are laughing at him. He's like hallucinating.
Yeah.
So then he's like freaking out. He starts shooting everywhere. The cops come and then they deal with them.
he shoots
one cop.
That scene, like nowadays, like I don't know, like it's just sort of like, man, it's
a wild world out there.
no, it's like in today's world with all like the stuff that's been seen in the news, it's sort of like I can't really look at that scene in the same way as I did when I first watched this, like when I was in middle school. Yeah, I watched this movie like really early on in my life.
I watched this recently for the first time, like a couple of months ago.
I watched it for the first time today.
And I watched it with him today.
And this was around the area where America started calling rape and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't think we explained like what Madigan's role is, like the antagonist situation. He's a bag man for
The Mafia.
The Mafia. He collects money from the peddlers and pushers in the streets.
Oh yeah, that's how he was going like to every like
business. And be like,
business.
where's my cut?
Yeah,
And they
but that
said-
was run by black people.
And they said, we don't have it. We
Yeah,
gave it all to,
the
we gave
Black
it to
Rabbit came before you. Like, you're late. He already took the money. If
It's
you
like,
want,
why'd you give him the money? I'd kill you right now. He had a gun. I didn't know what else to do. He had a gun.
and they were basically saying like, hey, don't talk to us. Go to the Black Rabbit. He has your money. Like, we already gave it to him. Deal with it with him.
By the way, before we skip, one of my, in terms of like pleasing, this is gonna sound scummy, but I love it when he's having a drink and then in front of him is a live action black chick like putting on a show for him.
I
saw
thought
it.
I
Remember
was sort of weird because again, for the question of like, well then what's a real human in this world? Is it a live action human or is it Madigan who looks like a cartoon human or is it a rabbit or a bear?
But that's one of the things that I also liked. It's like they were able to implement some of the like live action with the cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings movie where he basically just like filmed live action people and just like drew over it with like crappy filters. Like no, really, like I need to show you guys the movie because the orcs are basically like, all right, guys, in trash bags, I'm just gonna like draw some brown and green over you and call you orcs, and then that's gonna be our movie. But yeah, so Madigan gets killed by cops. He gets set up in a really intricate plan by Rabbit to drug him and get the cops to kill him, which I don't know. I think it would have been easier just like to kill him yourself. And
Yeah, but that way they would have been pinned down to the black people.
I think there could
Because
have
the
been...
cops were the one that took him out because Madigan shot one of the cops and they all just laid into him with
I know,
every
like,
gun.
it certainly helps for like a poetic way to die for a racist to be like...
Shot by like
Cops.
basically who he's with.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
after that, it technically cannot be
Traced back to them.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Mafia, which, Miguel, I think you have
Oh my god.
I think you got
Monkey
some,
boy.
you have some stuff to say about
These
the
were
Mafia.
basically carnies.
They were
carnies.
They were monsters.
Monsters that were in carnies.
Gay kids, one normal guy, and Monkey Boy.
And their father, who's Jabba the Hutt with legs.
I told this to Steven while we were watching it. He gave me sort of the Mr. Big from Meet the Feebles kind of vibe because he was just a giant circle-ish monster.
You know who he's like? This was one thing that I learned that he was voiced by. He's voiced by the grandpa from the Munsters, the vampire. Wait, shit! You guys don't know the Munsters?
I've never
No.
seen Munster.
Fuck. This reference is lost.
Was
on
he in
you.
Thank you,
Gremlins
Mr.
2?
Reference Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
know
him.
who he is.
Al Lewis.
Wow, that's him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But so this is one thing that interests me because apparently the way that Italians, or not necessarily Italians, but the Mafia are portrayed in this movie is a...
The Don is like a giant monster trash bag guy.
Yeah, but like it's a response to Ralph Bakshi grew up in New York where like the mob had a big stranglehold on life there, and he took great offense to how the mafia was portrayed in The Godfather and films like that, where they're criminals, but they're sort of like honorable in a way.
And they're cool.
Yeah, and they're cool, and he said like that's bullshit, and so he's gonna portray them how he saw them, which are monsters, clowns, degenerates,
Monkey Boy.
loser, a monkey clown boy
Monkey Clown Boy.
who they hang out with like pixies and devils and butterfly people.
And a headless black man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, of course you have no head. You never think.
I would say this is where the film jumped the shark, but I feel like it jumped the shark a while ago.
By the way, can you do an impression of the monkey boy right now?
You're gonna tell me that they're gonna think that the father of the dog can't be the rabbit? You queer sons of bitches.
I can't wait to edit the audio levels on that one.
You're welcome.
But, like, yeah, and then by the way, so yeah, I introduces the Mafia, and then it cuts to the sons who are all transgendered, I'm gonna say queer.
Yeah,
They're drag.
They're not transgender. They're
homosexual.
just transvestites.
There's transvestite.
Incestual transvestite homosexuals.
I'm gonna
because
say
this is the
that to
part
my
where-
grandma, see what she thinks of that.
This is where the Godfather tells the monkey boy to find them. He's like, where are they? These queer Godfather sons.
And then there's this tiny segment where he's just moving from vines somehow in the subway.
Yeah, and the mafia lives in the subway. I guess because they're
Underground peddlers.
Underground, like they're so like vile. They live in the underground, like underworld, I guess.
Yeah, and then he finds them somehow they fit in the trash can.
And they're
can.
fucking in
They're
the trash
fucking
can.
in
And
the
they're
trash can.
brothers. Two of them. Two of them were. Banging,
Yeah, they were brothers.
Two of them were banging
And
the
one
trash
of them
can.
sounds like John Wayne, which I think is a stab at John Wayne being a racist.
I never got. By the way, it's funny when you brought this up when we were talking about it. Is off camera, off mic, but I never caught that was supposed to be John Wayne accent.
I mean, what else would it be?
Just
I don't
a
know.
gay accent.
That's not a gay voice.
I don't know. Okay, Con.
God, what do you know?
All right, so now this is where I get a little bit lost. So after they introduce the Mafia, what happens next? Does anyone remember?
Well, now the Mafia are alerted to Rabbit basically
They're-
muscling in on them.
They're calling in all the Godfather sons, which was basically they go out and make money, I guess, by selling their bodies, pretty much. Because like there's another scene where they're in a subway and they're talking to the other two sons. One which is like the normal of all of them.
Sonny.
Yeah, he's like Sonny, and he's with his other brother who was apparently just wasting his time sucking a guy off and getting money or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
yet this is how they work though. They're in drag, inconspicuous, just going around, either taking hits or whatever, getting contracts for hits and taking people out that way, or just like getting money, by
They're the world's first prostitution hitman.
exactly,
Oh,
pretty much.
that's a movie right there.
And then Sonny, his name was Sonny, right?
Yeah,
Sonny.
Sonny
That's
was
a
like-
porn movie, right
Sonny
there.
basically said, "No, we're supposed to be out here doing jobs, not getting money to suck dicks."
And then,
And then
the
they-
clown boy's like,
and then-
"Hey, you gotta go do this hit for
Son,
Dan."
Yeah.
You gotta do it for the pop.
And every one of the other sons, like the ones that are queer, basically all want to kill the Black Rabbit. They're like, "Oh, dude, I hope I get this contract." Blah blah blah. And then Sonny, the normal one, he was just kind of like, "All right, let's just get this over with. Let's just hurry up because I just don't want to be here." And then it's like this old guy just like, "Hey, the Godfather says that you're taking the hit out," and everything. Oh, why is he gotta take the hit?
Yeah, why is
Why is
fucking Sonny doing it? Like, he's a loser. Which, by the way, like, yeah, gay John Wayne over there could have killed Rabbit, like, easy. Like, as an offensive, like, stereotype of, like, every, like, sexual minority there is, not bad with a gun, not, like, bad with, like, getting hits on people, whereas
that
Sonny
the-
fucks it up immediately.
Is that the one where he had two revolvers?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, cowboy.
Oh yeah, Sonny fucks it up and then gets killed. And then in the dark humor, the ashes go back to the mom. And then the brothers they just like start like sneezing and it goes everywhere. And the mom's like sadly catching it.
Well, let's back on one thing. During the assassination attempt, Bear gets hit protecting Rabbit, and meanwhile Fox has disappeared since the bar
the
fight.
very-
Yeah, with
he's
the girl.
He's not been in the movie for this time. So Bear gets hit. Rabbit doesn't even like kill Sonny. Sonny like does himself in because he's a fucking moron who doesn't know
Well,
how to
he
do
like
anything.
crashed, didn't he?
He crashed and he can't get out.
He can't get out. He's
And then-
burned.
yeah.
And let's put this out there. He was in full blackface, like full
Yeah,
disguise.
he dresses up as a literal
Black man.
minstrel.
Yeah.
As a minstrel, not even a black man, a minstrel with like black skin, like charcoal black skin, red lips, white like sideburns. Yeah, it's the stereotypical like you would see it like a turn of the century vaudeville minstrel show with like blackface.
I don't know. I can't remember.
And his machine gun is a banjo.
I can't.
Oh, that's
I
right.
forgot about that. But here's the thing. I can't remember if the blackface like burned off or if it like came off like a mask.
He like tore it off.
He
like
tore
a
it off.
mask.
He's like,
And then it revealed that it was Sonny, like actual, like the Italian mob sends it the regards. And he starts firing. That's when he hits Bear, basically.
So then Bear, after that scene, Bear tries to
Kinda
go
wants-
tries to find Fox, and then he ends up with a prostitute bride.
Well, he wants to find Fox because he's torn between his loyalty to Rabbit, but he also
No, because
just, like,
Rabbit told him, "Hey, I don't want you to be with me anymore. Like you already took some hits from me. Like this is your chance to
Like-
live a life.
Like
live,
if you want
without-
out, you can
yeah,
have
you
it.
have the
But
out.
Bear also he wants to be there for his friend, but he
Yeah.
also does want to have a life.
Because they were lifelong
Yeah.
friends, and it's like, now I can't differentiate between having a life and being there for the one who I've been with since I was a kidder, basically.
Which it's weird. Like that's a really nice character story. It's not given that much time in this movie.
No, because then he finds Fox and he gets a prostitute wife, and,
And
then
all problem.
No,
and
here's the thing. The
Fucks
only
his
reason
wife,
why. The only
problem
reason
solved.
why. Okay, so Fox's scheme, because he found Bear found a flyer for this church or whatever, and it was basically it's a whorehouse, but
Has
it's
his name on
legal.
it.
It's legal because they're not selling their body. They're just
Getting
married
to fuck, and then they divorce in the morning.
Because they specifically said they popped them on the bed with the prostitute, the chick from the beginning, saying, "Oh, don't worry, Bear, have fun. I'll divorce you guys in the morning."
And he never did.
He never did.
Which that's. I wonder. One, would that scheme work in real life? And two, has anyone tried it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
but
Probably in
and,
Las
answer.
Vegas somewhere.
That seems like something that would happen in the Old West, where it's like.
I would say in Las Vegas, like in the outskirts,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, like every Elvis on the street is marrying people.
and then after that is followed by a scene that I love animation wise, where the mom's upset that the fact that her sonny died, and she's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't
This
want."
seems fucked up.
And
she's
I don't want-
she's dancing with the Dawn, and she's about to bop him one.
Because
Kill him.
she's like, I don't want to lose any more sons. I'm not gonna lose any more sons. And then she's about to shoot,
And then my
Monkey Boy-
star Monkey Boy comes in and shoots her in the tit.
And then she becomes a butterfly that everyone's trying to catch.
She's at first she's really big,
Heavy set.
She looks
and then
like-
she starts transforming into this voluptuous
She starts morphing
person.
back into her young self, which
Yeah.
is beautifully animated, by the way. I fucking
really
love
is.
that.
Yeah.
Because her dress turns into her wings and whatnot.
And then
It's
she
not
covers
like-
herself, she gets shot, and then she turns into a butterfly.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of classic 1930s, 1940s Disney, how fluid the transformation was. It was really well done.
And then basically it turns the butterfly, everyone wants to kill it, and then the Don ends up just smashing it. And then basically it shows that the Don cared more about his sons than he did his wife.
Yeah.
But then it just seems like the mom cared so much about the sons, but the sons were the one that basically ended up killing him.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's,
killing
it's,
her.
it's a very cruel... the Mafia is...
I tried killing your dad for you guys, so you guys can live. But okay.
White people in the movie... white people are depicted in this movie as, yeah, there are some who are racist, but... this is one scene that was very telling, and I really liked this scene because it was very... For a movie that is not subtle at all in every other scene it does, this scene is very subtle where Fox and the woman he picked up as a prostitute, and I think Rabbit are in a club, and there are two live-action white people.
No, that was Bear. That's
It
where
was
Bear
Bear?
was telling him, and that's where the monkey boy was in there also.
Oh, yeah.
He was there telling him basically "Oh, hey, I got a job for you, Bear. Fight for the Mafia. Be a world champion boxer. Live your life. You don't have to, do dirty stuff or anything. You can just, you're
for
a
us."
talented fighter."
Yeah, this is part of the Mafia scheme to kill Rabbit, because they're kind of going to use...
Before that, they invited Fox over, and I don't know if Fox was trying to give him money or a cut of what he was doing.
Yeah, his basically, hey, here's your cut, and then the
Yeah.
Mafia's like,
No,
you know what?
keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it as
Yeah.
long as you do this little thing for us.
They're going to try and use them to get to Rabbit.
He said, Fox said, "I cannot get within 3 feet of Rabbit, but I can surely get Bear, who can get Rabbit for you." And that's where they went to the dinner, and that's where also Bear was contemplating, "Oh, should I take this offer, or should I go back to what I was doing?" And that's also one of the scenes that I really like, because they did the animation and the live action thing also. And by the way, that guy was so awkward in there. He
Oh,
was
yeah,
not
he's-
okay. He was still kind of racist in a way, while the woman was accepting. Oh, yeah, we want more.
We want more blacks out
Well,
here.
no,
you
see,
know?
what I loved about the scene was because it read so real. I don't think the guy was necessarily racist. He was certainly maybe uncomfortable, but
He was
not
really
necessarily.
uncomfortable. He wasn't ready to accept.
He wasn't ready, but I don't think he necessarily had too big a personal problem with it. It's just that I'm not used to it. But it was just like these people's like, oh wow, black people.
It's like they saying like
that's
you're
so,
really different than us.
Yeah, like that's so
wow.
quaint. It was like, and meanwhile we have these stereotyped cartoons of like black caricatures, but we also have equally stereotyped white people in live action.
Oh we always wear the same dress, all these same proper things. But you guys are so vibrant, so colorful and whatnot. Like, dude, look at your hair, look at all this, blah blah blah.
One thing I did want to say, minor detail. I love, like, so the Mafia's in the subway, right?
Yeah.
They live there. But they also, I think it's the scene where he's talking to Fox, and they have, like, this smelter.
There's a metal foundry.
Yeah, in, like, the background.
reason.
And then there's another scene where Monkey Boy's swinging around in the same, background.
You know, I'll give this to Ralph Bakshi. His backgrounds need some work because they just don't make sense at all.
That's the point.
I mean, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that because it's mainly supposed to be focused on.
I did like how the
animation.
background did kind of go in hand with what they're doing because it's kind of dark and shady, so the background kind of reflects that.
The one part I really did love, I actually loved it. It was when Bear was looking for Fox, basically, and he's like walking around the streets.
I did love that.
And there was like
aesthetically.
people who were just like staring, like as if it was like actual. He was actually there, like, oh, what? And they were started backing up while he's like walking towards, like, no.
Probably because Ralph
not gonna
Bakshi
mention.
didn't like obtain like a permit to like cordon
And
off the thing.
it like I was gonna never mention it, but it seems like it's like B-roll in a way where he's just recording random stuff and then just putting it in the movie as background.
And also just like, man, something about 1970s, urban settings, all like dirty and dark and stuff. It just it works. It works for this movie.
So yeah, after all that, basically we have a montage of Bear. It doesn't show Bear, by the way. You just see people getting knocked out.
Knocked out in not even a ring, just like a white room. This is the weirdest.
There was kind of like a one part where you can see like a fence. That's about it.
And then you see a Monkey Boy, probably the voice of Monkey Boy, just being the referee, just pointing at the guys.
The old short guy. He's like really wrinkly face, but he looked like a kid from far away.
Yeah.
When up close, he's like really old and he's short. And he's going, yeah.
Oh my god, that child grew old in like a split second.
But
But yeah, this is like, so, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, their plan is to orchestrate like a big time fight with Bear and a challenger of Rabbit's choosing.
Yeah.
So because they know that Rabbit's gonna be there so they can kill him, is that their plan?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, in the theme of this movie, these plans do not need to be this like well thought out. You're overthinking it.
But for the Italian mafia, I think they just weren't a way to get in there until they realized, oh, we can just challenge Black Rabbit with Bear, his own ally. Used to be an ally.
This is when before the challenge and all that, there's the bar scene where he's like, "Oh my, Bear's with the Mafia now. Like he's working against me."
And then there's Miss America.
For some reason, Miss America is now a character in the plot where she's like, "Yeah, come on, man. Like, what are you gonna do, man?"
I would really I would want to have like a film, like a guy a film professor or film expert, do a commentary on this film, just be like, what does this mean? I'm not experiencing that.
Because at first, all I knew was like Miss America was a metaphor. It was kind of like a mini backstory to everything, and now she's actually here.
Yeah, I thought she
was
an
actual character.
She existed kind of like sideways to the movie, like parallel to the movie, not necessarily in it, but related to it. Now she's
in there, and she's like
a mascot
for me. It kind of comes all back around, like she's the one trying to make a conflict. Like, hey, what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna say
no, Rodolfo, you're right. You true.
You're a good boy.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, that's enough.
And like he
enough.
How dare you?
He starts asking like, oh, who should we get as a
Don't
fighter?
talk to me or my monkey
and that
boy
one
ever
guy,
the gangly basketball guy.
yeah, who goes around actually like is a reporter in a way, like just goes around spilling the beans and gossip.
I'm trying to be conspicuous.
Meanwhile, I like the basketball stuff he did. I really like all the tricks he did. Like he just he like threw it into his pants and went down bopped off of his shoe and almost hit the pin, but he
He's so
caught it.
gangly. His basketball shorts are way too big for him.
Oh, and how he's talking about ready to be in the fight, and then one
And-
of his gloves gets super heavy because he has all the metal in it.
He's basically saying, I'm going to win either way. And it's, oh, okay.
I's
So
champion.
He's like doing Muhammad like, I is the greatest.
And then it cuts to the fight, which is this is nearing the end of the movie, where the fight happens, and then I mean we already saw this coming, where this is right, let's kill him.
First of all, they kind of show Black Rat, but to the audience, you can clearly tell it's not him.
tar.
It's a dummy.
It's a tar.
It's just melting.
It's literally like
a decoy.
It's
a man.
Tar.
It's a tar baby. Like that's because that comes from like we brought up Uncle Remus like as one of the stories of Uncle Remus is the story of Brer Rabbit and the tar baby. He came like Fox wanted to like teach Rabbit a lesson in the original story, so he made a model out of tar. And then when Rabbit came by and he said hello, he didn't hear an answer back. He got mad and he hit it, and he got caught in the tar. That's kind of where the racial pejorative tar baby comes from. Is this story?
Yeah. Now this is one small thing I didn't like is how when they get caught in the tar, it's this big elaborate animation scene of them getting caught, and to me I'm like, this is going on way too long just to say that they got caught up in the tar.
No, see, I was okay with that. I was okay with that because it was sort of like, I like weird, trippy animation. But yeah, basically, the Mafia, they think they're killing Rabbit. They get caught in tar. Big, long, nightmarish sequence of them getting caught up in various tars, like tar pancakes, apparently.
Tar
Yes.
pancakes, like tar, like
monsters.
pies.
Tar monsters.
Yeah, there's like
All while the fight's going on in the background, right?
Yeah, and just like the gangly dude is just like wailing on Bear, and Bear's not doing anything.
He's just getting hit in the face, like, oh, dude,
He's
this
like,
is it.
okay, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, tire yourself out.
But Rabbit comes along hopping like an actual rabbit, and then
Goes past them,
he's like,
hops
"Hey!"
back, hey.
Which is weird because like I thought you planned this out. Why are you surprised it worked?
He did.
I know, but like, why is like
No, but like
oh,
he
hey.
didn't
For
surprise.
theatrics.
Oh,
It's for
it's like
theatrics. He's like
theatrics.
jumping out.
I didn't see you guys
bounces
right
back.
behind
He's
me.
like, oh, hey guys, what are you guys doing
And-
here? Why are you stuck in
And
time?
Miguel, what does he say?
He's like, I'm gonna give you to the count of 2 to say hello. 1, 2, and then he points dynamite on him and lights it on fire.
But see, this is what I was like. Why I didn't have a problem with the long tar sequence was because like when they get blown up, it's gonna be like even more fucked up and like twisted. No, they just superimpose stock footage of an explosion on the footage. I'm like, that's it.
But the thing was, it was funny.
It
It's
pissed
like,
me off.
when he told him like, oh, you got 2 seconds to say hi. 1, 2, hi, hello,
Hello.
hey, hi, hello.
They're like so afraid. Like, hello, please don't.
But yeah, so basically,
It's revealed that Bear was in on the whole time.
No,
Never-
Bear wasn't in
not
on it.
in the whole
He
time.
wasn't?
Fox,
Fox
was.
was.
Fox was, but Bear
but
wasn't.
he was manipulating
Yeah.
Bear because
Because Bear says, "What you mean to tell me you guys this was a whole ruse the whole time, and
Wow,
I didn't
yeah,
know
wow,
about it."
They're assholes.
All right,
Because,
okay.
because like, after he killed him, Bear knocked out the
Gangly dude.
the gangly
Yeah,
guy,
in one
and then he's
punch.
like, "Come on, Bear, let's go." And Bear was like, okay, you just killed the mafia. All right, sure, I'll come with you."
I like
And
how
that's
he
when
made
the car.
I like how he made sure to tag the gangly dude so he didn't die in the explosion. He took him into the car with him.
Yeah, and then in the car is basically revealed the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a long ruse.
Again, way more complicated than it needed to be.
I'll
But
give him credit for it though.
theatrics.
And then,
Yeah, but
as the
theatrics-
car drives up, they're laughing about it, and then the animation portion is done, and it cuts back to the live action portion with the prisoners.
Which I think now we can like discuss fully the story of the live action bits because was set up. It's set up in the first scene. Oh, these two prisoners are telling a story. The story is the animated segments. But now, like, I think we should go into like what it actually is about, which is basically these two guys are waiting for their friends to bail them out of prison.
Yes.
And meanwhile, their friends get into a shootout with cops. Like, how are you
Was
guys?
it really a shootout? Because like
They
just killed. It was
the
just
cop-
it was a roadblock with just 2 officers. That's it. And one of them was asking, "Oh, why are you in such a rush at night?" And that's when like the person who's basically
pulled
Bear pulls out a gun, shoots him, and starts shooting.
I thought
him.
it was so funny because the way it went, it was like, "Hey, can I see your license?" And he gives him, it's like, "Hey, there's no need to rush. Russian? We ain't Russian. You're Russian." And then he pulls out the gun.
you motherfucker. He man, talk about something that, man, this is not ring true in today's world, because that would not happen.
One thing is, I'm surprised that they didn't fuck up like on the car, like the car scenes when they're driving fast, because it seemed like they would have swerved out of control by accident.
Yeah,
especially going on the freaking grass.
Yeah,
just in the fields.
Don't give them this for like that whole. The last sequence of this movie is Scatman Carruthers and Rico Tubbs escaping from prison and getting into the car while the cops are shooting at them from the prison walls. Pretty well done sequence, I think. As like a, even though they get shot to hell multiple times.
Bear gets shot in the back, and then Fox is like grabbing it, trying to like stop from bleeding out.
And then the car is still miraculously okay. Yeah, even though they shot the tires like 5 times.
They technically didn't shoot the tires, but they shot the side of the car, and then
everyone
gets shot. And what's weird is that why would he go back? Like basically, the guy who plays Black Rabbit, basically, is helping the random inmate.
Scatman Carruthers.
He's basically helping him out, even though he's like, "Oh, dude, why are you getting out?"
Even throughout the whole movie, he's been like, "What the hell are you talking about? You're full of bullshit." Like he's been annoyed with him throughout the whole movie, but now he's like, I have to save him.
I guess it was his cellmate, probably.
Maybe.
And then he's like, but then again, if I was him, I'd be like, yeah, they came here for me, not for you. I'm just gonna leave you here.
Yeah.
No, but he helped.
But they all got shot except for Preacher.
Yeah. Although he may have just gotten in trouble, may not have seen it because, like, man, they riddle this car with bullets, but yet everyone's fine apparently. Although,
but the really ending was kind of weird for me because it looked like Preacher was kissing a little kid.
Oh, that's because this is what it probably is. That kid is probably the prisoner's son, and he's telling him basically, "Hey, your dad's home. We got your dad back."
And I think that's sort of, I don't know, like maybe it's sort of meant to be like, "Hey, you know what, black people? I think it's gonna be okay."
Because what I remember in the beginning, when Preacher was waiting outside of like the Bears' house, like actual live action house.
Yeah.
Like the woman was like, "Do you really have to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to do it." And I'm pretty sure that was the kid of that cartoon prostitute that we were talking about. That's where I feel like it was, that little kid.
Hey, mate. I mean,
because like later on, it's like he might have gotten older and now he's there.
I mean, Steven, you touched on it before, but like, Barry White, the driver of the getaway car, is Bear. The Preacher is the Fox, and Rico Tubbs is Rabbit. Maybe this is like a continuation of the events after, like, the animated portion.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
But that'd be kind of weird because...
It'd be weird, but I mean...
Because the guy's explaining everything about
like,
it.
he knows them. Yeah, maybe...
So basically, Preacher kisses a little boy. They walk up to sunset.
For kind of a uncomfortably long time.
Yeah.
End credits. Movie's over.
And then he picks him up, and that's where it fades off. We don't know what he did.
He could have killed him for all we know.
So yeah, that was Coonskin.
All right, so the question portion. Did you like this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really dug this movie.
It was kind of hard to like sit through a little bit, but it's a rewarding experience, I think.
I didn't like it as much as Fritz the Cat, but I still really enjoyed this movie aesthetically, and the story is very basic rise to rank crime movie. But other than that, I really did dig this movie.
But Fritz the Cat is Ralph Bakshi's first film, which got him in a lot of trouble because it's X-rated. It was the first X-rated film. And was animated.
Yeah. Sausage Party.
Yeah, take that, your slave labor, and go to hell.
I don't think you use the word slave in this Coonskin video.
Alright. So then, now, since we all like it, could this movie be made today?
Okay.
If
it was extremely toned down, maybe.
Well, see, this is the thing, though, about this movie. It kind of already was made in modern times, again.
Really?
Yeah, a Spike Lee film called Bamboozled.
Never seen it.
It touched on a lot of similar things. Like, it used a lot of caricatures of black people, like blackface and minstrels and all that stuff.
Wait, was this an animated movie?
No, live action.
White people in blackface?
If I remember correctly, yes, or blacks in blackface, which is an actual thing. Because, like, blackface doesn't just mean, like, oh, you're made up to look like a black person, blackface typically responds to the very cartoonish way of makeup that white actors would do to emulate a black person, like make their lips appear much bigger than they actually are, like that type of blackface. But I think this film could be made today if you got someone like Spike Lee to do it, who has a lot of cachet in Hollywood and like has a lot of goodwill with black audiences. I think you could make it today. It would be harder, but it could be done.
Straight to DVD.
One requirement.
Straight to Netflix.
One requirement
No,
if they were to remake it today.
Direct to Hulu.
Monkey Boy. I want
enough with Monkey Boy.
No, I want a beautiful.
He's not even like a monkey. He's like a clown.
He's a clown Monkey Boy. I want a honest to good. If they were to remake it, I want a good representation of my Monkey Boy.
Willem Dafoe.
But basically,
Willem Dafoe is the Monkey Boy.
But basically, what
You know how much they sacrificed, Papa?
now that you say it, this movie could be made today, not the way Ralph Bakshi did it, because that's what makes this movie very unique. The fact that it's animation and live action.
If it was animation, they couldn't do it, I don't think.
No, but the way I see it is Spike Lee could make this movie if he focused on the crime element. That's the movie.
Well,
but then it'll lose the social commentary it's saying.
All right, now this is a special question, and this is a question that I've actually been looking forward to because it's one that's often been discussed with this film. Like, do you think the commentary in this film works? Because like, what I could honestly like see someone's problem with this movie. I like this movie, but at the same time, I can see the problems with it. Like, you know, you are just kind of like bringing up stereotypes again and not necessarily saying anything about them. Like, what do you think?
I think that it does do. Oh my god.
This is a can of worms that maybe we shouldn't open.
Where? I don't see my can of worms. I left it at home, but I do have this can of beans I can spill.
All right, first question: why do you have a can of worms?
Okay, let's leave this joke.
This joke
failed.
A weird meta level.
Joke died inside the womb. Now go ahead.
Excuse me?
I
When does life begin?
The question was, do you think the commentary works?
Basically, as long as it doesn't come out,
Yes.
it's not like.
For me, yes.
there are some scenes that definitely work better than others. I think. I don't
Yeah.
think every scene necessarily works, but I think overall, what Bakshi tries to do, I think does work, and it's something that not a lot of people have done, which is present caricatures of black people and other like races too, but add humanity to them and confront people with their offensiveness.
I feel like that's what the stereotypes are
for the
supposed
time,
to be.
yes,
It's
for
supposed
sure.
to be in your face.
Yeah.
But one thing though, again, this refers, even though with the stereotypes of commentary, I feel like this movie wouldn't be able to make today the way, you know, Ralph Bakshi did it, because we have gotten so better in terms of being like politically correct that I think you feel like people these days would be more offended at the movie than they were back then.
I think it would be so caught up in the fact that he presented stereotypes, they would not see why the stereotypes are being presented. But I will say this, like, people...
And Tumblr would have a shit fit.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, this is... You brought up political correctness, and, you know, look, I agree that political correctness can sometimes be out of hand or taken too far, but, you know, at the same time, you know, looking at stuff that was, like, sold in toy stores, like... When doing research for this film, I saw an ad for a toy like comparing Rabbit's design to a thing called a gollywog, which is a gollywog was a...
Is that Lord of the Rings character?
No, it's a British children's character who, if you look up what a gollywog is, it's a charcoal black, like, childlike figure with, like, dreadlock hair, kind of, like, bushy hair, red lips, and, like, bright, buggy eyes. And this is a children's character. Like, a toy, yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds like the sequel to the Babadook.
Well, except, like, more racist and not as gay-friendly.
I will fucking
Go
stab
on.
you.
But, like, I can... When seeing stuff like that where I was like, this was sold to children, I was like, you know what, yeah, I can kind of see why people would be like, no, political correctness isn't as necessary, because it wasn't too long ago when that was acceptable to give to children. So, I'm not, like, one of the people who say, like, oh, political correctness is just, like, all bad. Like, no. It does serve good, but... like with everything, too much of it
It's bad.
is bad.
Yeah, my tummy hurts.
Welcome to the party.
Hey. So yeah, that was Coonskin. Thanks for joining us. I was Steven.
You were Steven?
I am Steven.
Who are you now?
And yeah,
Jake.
this was our episode of Coonskin. What?
What? No, because I heard him call you Jake, and I know how much that brings up sad childhood memories for you.
No, it doesn't.
Why do you gotta
Alright.
embarrass me?
So yeah, thanks for joining us. You can follow us on our channel where we'll be posting more episodes of 2 Cent Theater coming soon, probably next week.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. And we also have our video game videos. Check those out. And we also have our first season of Don't Take Out of Context is out. It's 10 episodes. And we basically shoot the shit.
10 episodes of stuff that's going to get us fired from a job one day.
This is our job now.
Don't jinx me, Connor.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. I am Steven.
I'm Connor, I guess.
I'm Miguel, and I'm Miguel because Steven said it twice, and now should
And
I?
I'm Rodolfo.
And we're out.
Thank
Fuck
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enjoy.
Love you.